Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this year's 2022 Kooteany Virtual Effective Speaking Competition. I'd like to start off to say that I am in Vancouver, located on the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Peoples lands. Thank you. So with that, my name is Jermaine Chu, and I'm the Effective Speaking Coordinator, and I'd like to welcome our free cadets and 1C cadet. So welcome. Nice to see you with us here today. And I am excited today to present to you 4 cadets and a few housekeeping rules to cover. As out of respect for our speakers, judges, and audience, we'd ask that you be muted for competition. I'd like to remind that no screenshots to be taken, as we'll have time at the end of competition to do so. Competition will be recorded and the videos will be posted on BCPC website once approved. When the speeches do start, we do ask that you decide prior to whether you want your video on or off, just so it's not distracting of flipping the screens on and off once they've started. We will monitor the audio and visual once speech is underway. And once this meeting has been announced as beginning, those entering late will be admitted in between speeches. The format for today is as follows. Each speaker will be presenting a 5 to 6 minutes prepared speech with a 2-minute break for judges to mark. We ask for your cooperation in keeping your systems muted while our judges score. After all prepared speeches are complete, we will have the judges email their sheets to the designated email. We will have a short 10-minute break, then commence the impromptu section of competition. Impromptu speeches will be 2 to 3 minutes each, and again with 2 minutes for our judges to mark, and will be presented in reversed order. The speaker will not know the topic of the speech until they are given 3 minutes to prepare prior to their turn. After the completion of the speeches, we will tally the scores and then announce the top 3 names. The gold medalists will continue on to the provincial competition, which will be held in person on April the 23rd, 2022 at Broadmoor Baptist Church in Richmond, BC. I could forward details later on. So let's start and have some fun. Without further ado, Speaker 1, Cadet's Choice, Cadet Life, Science and Technology, Aviation, Canadian History, or Citizenship. Cadet Life, Science and Technology, Aviation, Canadian History, or Citizenship. Speaker 1.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and judges. Vimy Ridge was an unusual, prominent 9-kilometer-long escarpment rising amid the open countryside north of the town Aries. It was at Vimy Ridge, 1917, that all 4 divisions of the Canadian Corps attacked simultaneously for the first time. About 1,000 men took part in the battle. Vimy was an important part of the German defenses, barring the way to the mines and factories of the Dewey Plain, which had been great use to them during the war. The very nature of the ridge gave a strong built-in defense, but these natural defenses had been supplemented by strong points. An elaborate trench system and underground tunnels linking natural caves were created by the Germans. All previous attempts by the French and the British to capture the ridge had failed. There was a strong body of opinion among Allied commanders that the ridge was possibly impenetrable by ever being taken by attack. Preparations for the battle were extremely detailed. Behind the lines, the Canadians built a full-scale replica of the ground over which their troops would have to attack, giving units a chance to practice their assault so they understood what to do on that day of the battle. Regular reconnaissance patrols gathered from aerial photography, but that changes to the German defenses on the ridge were always up to date. Tunnels dug underground were a total of 5 kilometers in all directions, allowing the attacking troops to move undetected closer to the enemy lines. These were built by Canadian Combat Engineers, or sappers. Before the infantry attack was to proceed, a powerful artillery bombardment, which lasted almost 3 weeks, involving about 1,000 guns, took place. As a result of its success in taking the ridge, Canada gained a lot more than just a strategic point. Canada was united as a nation, and the victory changed the way other countries viewed them. The world no longer viewed their soldiers as an allied force, but now viewed their troops as an independent and unified entity. The German army described Canadians as the most brave and daring and brutal enemy they have ever faced. A previous battle in World War I, the Battle of the Somme, the Germans gave the name shock troopers to the Canadian soldiers because of the brutality they showed their foes. One of the soldiers who participated in Vimy, John George Patterson, who enlisted in Calgary, Alberta on the 6th of March, 1916. His son already enlisted at the age of Patterson enlisted at the age of 40 so he would be able to protect his son. As the war unfolded, he was sent to France while his son stayed in England. On the 10th of April, 1917, the Battle of Vimy Ridge in the area of Hill 145, the location of today's memorial, when the advance of Canadian troops was held up by an enemy machine gun that was inflicting severe casualties, Private Patterson, with utter disregard for his own safety, sprang forward, jumping from shell hole to shell hole, reached cover within 30 yards of the enemy gun. From this point, in the face of heavy fire, he hurled bombs, killing and wounding some of the crew, rushed forward, overcoming and bayoneting the surviving 5 gunners. His initiative and valor undoubtedly saved the situation. He was awarded the Victoria Cross for this action, which is the highest and most prestigious award in the British Commonwealth. Sadly, he was killed in action at Lens, France, on the 3rd of June, 1917. He's buried at La Chaudière Military Cemetery, France, located 7 miles north of Aries, Plot 4, Row C, Grave 14. The Mountain Victoria Cross Rangers in Jasper National Park, Alberta, is named in his honor. The city of Calgary named a bridge over the Elbow River to recognize Private Patterson. Sadly, many soldiers like Private Patterson died during World War I. Monuments like Vimy Ridge help remember that their sacrifice. May they never be forgotten. Back to you, host.
Thank you very much, Speaker 1. Next, we have Speaker 2. Science and Technology, Aviation, Canadian History, or Citizenship? Science and Technology, Aviation, Canadian History, or Citizenship? Speaker 2.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. These were the famous words of Neil Armstrong during the moon landing in 1969. From the Sputnik 1 to the Mars rover Perseverance, humankind has made many groundbreaking revolutions in the face of space exploration since the first spacecraft in 1957. Even though NASA deals with shooting things off planets into space, it can still help down here on Earth. Many recent advancements are a great example of this, including the race to settle on Mars. There are many glorious plans for the future of space exploration, including hopes of a moon base in 2028 and humans on Mars in the 2030s. It is a massive task, but as Elon Musk has said, it's a fixer-upper of a planet, but we could make it work. A good question that has been asked a lot is why should we spend billions just to launch things into space when we have more pressing problems down here on Earth, such as poverty, world hunger, and war? Well, before I explain, let's get one thing straight. If you had to guess, what % of America's total budget would you guess goes into NASA every year? Think about it. Have a number in your head? Well, did you know that only 0.5% of USA's total budget is spent on NASA per year, compared to the 10.5% that is spent on military? Many missions have been launched into our orbit that still work to better people's lives to this day. A great example is the SMAP satellite, which stands for Soil Moisture Active Passive. This satellite can scan the surface of the Earth and measure the amount of moisture in the soil, which can be very helpful information for farmers in any country. Along with all these physical impacts and benefits, one of the most important things to consider is that the concept and exploration of space has sparked the curiosity, imagination, and interests of millions of young people all around the world, just like it did for me. Recently, there have been many exciting advancements in the exploration of our solar system. Saturn tried to give Jupiter a ring. Seriously though, in October 2020, NASA reestablished connection with the Voyager 2 after upgrading the massive antenna that receives and transmits to the spacecraft. It is now beyond the gravitational influence of the sun, and scientists are looking forward to receiving information from the deep space of the Milky Way. Hopefully, it'll help us find some little green friends. The exploration of Mars is an essential part of human survival, hence the tens of billions of dollars worth of robots currently roaming around the red planet. Mars is an important part of our survival for three key reasons. First, with our quickly increasing population, there are hardly enough resources to go around. Second, one of the biggest dangers to humans are other humans, especially at this moment. It would be good to have an off-world base safe from war and catastrophe. Finally, scientists know that being hit by an asteroid the same size as the one that hit the dinosaurs would be apocalyptic for humans. Luckily, NASA has been working in many ways to prevent this, such as ramming a spacecraft into the asteroid in order to knock it off course. It is a glorious and exciting age to be involved in space travel. There are plans for colonizing the moon and Mars. The ship that will transport humans and supplies to the moon is called Artemis, named after the Greek goddess of the moon, Apollo's sister. It is said that SpaceX and NASA are working together around the clock to get to Mars. It is likely they will get humans on Mars roughly within the next decade. Elon Musk has said, "I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact." It is likely there will be a base on the moon in the late 2020s and one on Mars in the late 2030s. The first person to set foot on Mars is alive right now. He or she could be in this room. It could be any one of you. Space exploration plays an important role in our past, present, and especially our future. There are many ways that it has improved our lives down here on Earth. It is an exciting time to be involved in astronomy. There have been many groundbreaking developments recently, and there are big plans for the future. One of the greatest things that the exploration of space brings to us is not an actual physical thing, but rather it has inspired millions of young people around the globe to reach higher and to strive to become what they want to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 2. Next, we have Speaker 3. Because we are seeing a heightened interest and travel into space, what do you see as the future of space travel? What do you see as the future of space travel? Speaker 3.
60 years ago, the first person went to space. 50 years ago, the first person stepped onto the moon. 40 years ago, the first reusable spacecraft launched. 20 years ago, the International Space Station was launched. 10 years ago, a private company started delivering cargo to the International Space Station. And only 6 months ago, that same company launched the first all-civilian crew into space. Where will we be in the next 10 years? Judges, officers, guests, and fellow cadets. Space travel has always been run by governments. Nearly everyone who's been to the moon, been to the International Space Station, or just been to space in the first place has been an astronaut. Until now. The space industry is becoming commercialized. It's starting to become run by private companies. SpaceX is the most obvious example. They've been delivering cargo to the ISS, as I already said, for the last 10 years. They started delivering astronauts in 2020, 2 years ago, and they sent the first all-civilian crew to space just 6 months ago in September. But SpaceX isn't the only company in the space race. Richard Branson, who's a billionaire, went to space with his company Virgin Galactic in July of last year. And then just a few weeks later, Jeff Bezos went to space with his company Blue Origin. So what does this commercialization of the space industry mean for space travel in the near future? Well, you can go to space. Well, before you had to become an astronaut, you had to go through rigorous training and usually have a long list of degrees. Now you can go commercially with almost no training for a price, of course. It costs $250,000 to $500,000 if you want to go with Blue Origin, and you have to pay $450,000 to go with Virgin Galactic. Now, if you want to go spend 3 days on the ISS with SpaceX, you only have to pay them a measly $55 million. But this means that for the first time in history, there will be a demand for tickets to travel to space. The space industry no longer being restricted to government purposes only means that different things will be possible, such as recreational travel. As our technology evolves, travel to other parts of the world in a very short amounts of time is plausible. Jeff Bezos' entire flight from launch to landing was only 10 minutes, although he did go suborbital. It takes about 90 minutes for the ISS to orbit the Earth completely. So if you think about it, a flight to the other side of the world could take less than 50 minutes. That's a huge decrease from the hours, nearly a day of flying that it takes now. This would be useful for recreational purposes, but also to get government leaders or medical equipment or whatever to the other side of the world in a very short amount of time. And although it's a long shot, I'm pretty sure travel to the moon and even to Mars will become attainable. The moon has been done before, obviously, but it should be much easier now. Just compare a picture of the SpaceX Dragon capsule, which is the capsule they used to take astronauts to space, to a picture of the Apollo capsule, which was the capsule that NASA used to take astronauts to the moon. It just shows how far we've come technologically. Not only is the Dragon bigger, it looks a lot less overwhelming and much easier to use. It can hold up to 7 people where the Apollo could only hold 3. And it can, if you look at the inside, there's one control panel over the 2 people controlling it, and it has all your controls, all your instruments, whatever. And the inside looks so much sleeker. The Apollo one had buttons and dials and knobs and whatnot all over the inside, but the Dragon just looks so much better. But that just shows how far we've come. SpaceX is also working on their Starship spacecraft, which is the most powerful launch vehicle ever developed or being developed, and it is designed to carry a crew and cargo to the moon and beyond. They've actually made quite a few significant developments on their spacecraft just recently, within the last couple months. Many innovations have been made in food, in waste recycling. They now recycle the air in the International Space Station and the waste. The spacesuits look so much better, and they work much better as well. Computers, your smartphone is hundreds of thousands of times faster than the Apollo's computer. And the rockets themselves, they can go higher, farther, and faster. Although artificial gravity hasn't been invented yet, I think that's something to look forward to. So what will the world of space be like in 10 years? Coming back to my original question. Since normal people now have a much greater access to the space industry, I believe that we will see space travel become regular. My generation is the generation of technological advancement, and this new venture of space travel into the business world will not only create jobs, it will create opportunity for everyone who wants to float in space, to walk on the moon, to go to Mars, and to gaze down in wonder at our incredible planet. And that is what I see as the future of space travel. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Speaker 3. And next, speaker 4. Should every student be required to learn at least one additional language? Should every student be required to learn at least one additional language? Speaker 4.
Bonjour tout le monde. Comment ça va? I know a lot of you probably didn't understand what I just said, or maybe even what language that was. I just spoke French saying, hello everyone, how are you? Judges, officers, audience, and fellow cadets. Have you ever struck up a conversation with someone in a different language? I know I have, many, many times before. I have been in the French immersion program for 5 years now, currently in grade 8, with starting in French immersion in grade 4. Now, I bet some of you are wondering what that has to do with my speech, and others may already know. Should it be required to teach a secondary language in schools? I personally have mixed opinions on this. Why? Well, let me explain. First, I think it would help students get better jobs. If you didn't already know, if you graduate school in French immersion, graduate with something called a bilingual diploma. The bilingual diploma, also known officially as the Diplôme de fin études secondaires en Colombie-Britannique, is obtained by having the following secondary school graduation: at least 16 credits in the grade 12 level, 4 credits in the grade 10 level, 4 credits in grade 11, 4 and 12, and an extra 4 credits in either grade. That may seem hard, but if students did what I have done, starting French immersion in grade 4, the lowest grade available in my community, then they will probably get all the boxes ticked just by doing school regularly. With a bilingual diploma, you are more likely to get into better post-secondary schools. With that, you can get better and higher paying jobs. A cool thing about being French close to other languages, such as Spanish, is that, for example, if you went to Spain, you'd be able to understand Spanish very easily. French and Spanish are very similar languages, although there are some differences. So if you were to talk in a conversation, there are some parts they probably wouldn't understand. Before the 1960s, it was actually believed that bilingualism was detrimental to a child's brain function. However, more recent scientific work demonstrates that being bilingual can in fact add to a brain's cognitive abilities, improving your awareness or perception of subtle differences in grammar and spelling mistakes within your languages and even between other languages, and your ability to learn other languages. Some studies have found that if taken advantage of in early life, bilingualism and an expansion of linguistic capabilities can make it easier to learn other languages. What are some good jobs to be bilingual for? Well, with aviation in mind, as most of us are air cadets. If you want to work for a Canadian-based airline, they are more likely to consider English-French bilinguals. With Canada's national languages being French and English, it's easier to communicate with passengers coming from places such as Quebec or maybe even France. Have you even ever been interested in politics the slightest or wanted to become a politician? Well, I have some bad news for you. You must be able to speak English and French fluently. Meaning it's best to take the French immersion program starting in grade 4. That leads me on to the second part, the reasons I think it might not be the best. First of all, people ask me a lot of stupid questions. What language do you dream? What language do you think? Do you ever get confused? If you could only speak one language, which one would you choose? These questions really annoy me when they ask them. Why do you need to know? What does that even have to do with anything? Also, if everyone in school was in French immersion, it would lead to less students to get higher paying jobs due to the influx of students applying with about the same school experience. If this does happen, schools might be more crowded. This also may affect students still in school, mainly late high school. With that, they won't have as many good job opportunities as the students a few grades below them could get. This would also open the chances for anyone in school to participate in the French Immersion Exchange Program. French Immersion Exchange Program is a program where you exchange with another student in places such as Quebec and France. Now, imagine you came to Canada last year and you were just starting to learn English. Maybe German was your first language. It would be insanely difficult to juggle learning English, English and French when you only speak German. I personally would not want to be forced into the French immersion program in that situation. In conclusion, I think it should not be mandatory, but actually more encouraged than it is now. But I wonder, what is your opinion? Have you ever wanted to be in a language immersion program? Do you speak any other languages? Thank you, and back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Speaker 4. And since that was Speaker 4, let's move the judges into the judges' room with the tally people so they may finish their markings. And I will move the cadets into the cadet briefing room. Audience member, we're just going to go take a 10-minute short break. We will start our impromptu section of competition. Thank you, folks. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to start the impromptu section of this competition. We have Judge 1, 2, and 3 present. Timer is present. Now, the cadet is in the room with our supervisor receiving the question and 3 minutes to prepare their speech. They will be coming to join us in a few minutes here. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about impromptu section. These cadets will be performing in reverse order. The judges, I will require you to mark still under their speaker number column. And with these, they'll be presenting a 2 to 3 minute speech, and the judges will receive 2 minutes to complete their markings. And at the end of all the impromptu speeches, the judges will have the time to finish up their markings and evaluations and email it forth to myself and also the marks to the tellers at that time. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have Speaker 4. The impromptu question is, what do you get every time when you go grocery shopping? What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? Speaker 4.
Peace teas, cucumbers, and salami. Those all seem wildly different, and to be honest, they are. Peace teas and cucumbers. Well, peace tea is a drink, and cucumber, well, it's a food. How could they be in common at all? Even salami, it's not like a cucumber or peace tea. It's completely different from either of them. Anytime I go shopping, whether by myself or with my parents, I have a certain list of things that I will always get. It's not a written list. It's a written list in here though, in my mind. I always keep it etched in there and I will always remember it. Peace teas. Well, they're a really good drink. It's just tea in a huge can. And it's flavored as well. Cucumbers, they're really healthy. They also taste really well. Really, really good. And I don't eat the small miniature cucumbers. I have the big cucumbers, the whole ones. I just go and take a bite. Just eat them. Salami. This one doesn't necessarily have a reason other than, well, it tastes good. Salami is my favorite type of, what do you call them? Meat, non-vegetables. It's up to you to choose. But regardless of what you call them, they are 100% my favorite. The best kinds are the ones that usually come in the long tubes and are then sliced up into thin little slices. That is the best salami, not the tiny ones that you just bite out of, the thin salamis. In conclusion, the 3 things I would take to a store that I would always get when going to a store are peace tea, cucumbers, and salami. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Speaker 4. Next, we have Speaker 3. What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? Speaker 3.
Judges, officers, guests, and fellow cadet. Now, when I first heard this question, I thought, well, what one thing do I get every time I go grocery shopping? Obviously. But there's not really one specific thing. I mean, we usually get milk, we get bread, that's a big one, all kinds of groceries. I could give a list. But when we go grocery shopping at Christmas time, we get gifts. If we go grocery shopping at Thanksgiving, we're always getting a turkey. If we go in the summer, we're getting fruit, exotic fruits that you don't get to eat any other time of the year, like pomegranate. But none of those really stood out to me, except one. Every time I go grocery shopping, I get bored. No matter who I'm going with, no matter how long I'm going, I always get bored. If I'm going with my whole family, yeah, there's 6 of us. And so then it takes a long time because usually we're going clothes shopping, which takes forever, or we're going Christmas shopping, which also takes forever. But if I'm just going with my dad, he has to shop for the whole family. So that takes forever. And he's always trying to figure out, like, what's the cheapest version of this item I can buy? And then he always ends up spending $300 and getting the free gift. But that's just because we have a large family and we eat a whole lot. So I always get bored because, spending a long time in a store is boring. There's not really anything fun to do. I mean, if you really want to, you can help shop, but that's just even more boring. Trying to figure out what's the cheapest item. It gets very tedious. Or trying to figure out where this item is because, Walmart is a maze of endless items and it's easy to get lost. So that's one reason why I don't like to shop myself. But if we're going clothes shopping, then it's torture because it's just trying to find anything is a nightmare. But then waiting for everyone else to find everything is more torture. So going grocery shopping, going clothes shopping, going Christmas shopping, whatever it may be, the one thing that I always get is bored. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Speaker 3. Next, we have Speaker 2. What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? Speaker 2.
Now, normally I don't love shopping. It usually is when my mom takes me and drags me down all the aisles to look at every single thing. But the one time I do love to go shopping is sometimes we go for a haul in Calgary to get lots of stuff, which is cheaper. So when we're there, we usually go to TNT, an Asian food store, and my mom loves it because she is from Taiwan. So we love going there and getting all that Asian food. The one thing that I always get my parents to get me is bubble tea. It's my favorite drink in the whole world, and it reminds me of going and walking down the night market in Taiwan, and it brings back really good memories. I love Asian food, and going to TNT is like always special and fun for me because it reminds me of spending time with my parents in Taiwan and other family in Taiwan too, which is always a great time. Now, we also sometimes get the tapioca pearls so that we bring it home. And I love to make bubble tea at home, but I'm not very good at cooking, and it's not always the same as going to TNT to buy bubble tea because it's always so delicious there. And which is why I always love to go to Calgary and go shopping with my mom. It's always a special thing for me, and I love to do it. It's always fun. And the one thing that I always get while I'm shopping is bubble tea because my mom is from Taiwan and it brings back special memories. What do you get every time you go shopping? Thank you.
Thank you, speaker 2. Now we have speaker 1. What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? What do you get every time you go grocery shopping? Speaker 1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, judges. What do I get when I go grocery shopping? Well, first it all depends what I'm going to have for supper during the week. Say Monday, we're having spaghetti. So I'll go get some pasta, some tomatoes, make some sauce. Tuesday, we're having steak with some Caesar salad. Buy some nice T-bone steaks or some ribeyes. Or get some Caesar salad stuff, whip that together. Good supper. Wednesday, well, to be honest, you could really get anything. There's the stuff that you want to get, and there's the stuff that you have to get because you need it. By that, I mean, what I would like to get is, well, first thing when you go into the store, what are you looking at? You're looking at the candy aisle, chip aisle, anything that has sweets in it, really. You're like, people want, like, you want to get the chips, you want to get, say, some sour soothers, a case of root beer, all sorts of stuff. But what I mean by the stuff that you have to get, you have to live a healthy and balanced lifestyle. So that's where I mean your protein, your fruits and vegetables. But there's also the stuff that when you go to the store, say you need lunches for school. So I always get cold meat, salami, some ham, mustard and pickles, a little Havarti cheese, always goes good on top, or on the sandwich, sorry. So when I go to the grocery store, I'm gonna say I get whatever I need. I'll get stuff for the meal. I'll get the stuff for the meal that I'm going to have. So like I said earlier, if I'm going to have, I'll plan out the meals for the week and I will get what I need on my grocery list. If there's something on sale and I'm thinking the week ahead, sure, I'll buy that, because who doesn't like sale prices? That is what I get when I go grocery shopping. Thank you.
Thank you, speaker 1. Now that concludes all our speakers for the impromptu section of competition. I'll have Captain Palmer, you can move the judges and the tellers into the judges room so they may tally up the scores, and later on we'll have them join us again and we'll introduce the judges to you. While they are doing that, we're going to have our cadets. Let's get to know our cadets. Cadets, I'll trouble you to rename yourself back to your rank and name. Now, thank you very much, cadets. You have entertained us this afternoon with your spectacular speeches, and just being on here with us at this competition means the world to us, and that you are also learning a life skill here. So thank you for that. Now, let's get to know our cadets here. Cadet, speaker number 1. Introduce yourself, your rank, and the squadron you're with, or corps, excuse me.
I'm Petty Officer First Class Moore. I am with RCSCC 81 Hampton Gray, VC in Nelson, BC.
Well, thank you and welcome. Thank you for joining us here today. You are a C cadet, and I am happy that your element is taking advantage of this, and we're going to work together and collaborate and get this program growing. All right. So I was curious. Tell us a little bit about your corps.
So I'm actually live in Cascar. Our corps is in Nelson. I'm the coxswain of our corps, which is the air cadet equivalent to warrant officer first class. We have a corps about roughly 12 people. On paper, we're a little corps. We've been struggling the last couple of years, but we've been trying to make. But lots of course have. We've been trying to make the most out of the in-person training that we've gotten to do the last couple of months. And we're just excited to be getting back into it.
Fantastic. And I totally understand about being it difficult. Not only your element, our element as well, being not in person. A lot of our curriculum has been switched over to a virtual platform, if even that. We have had problems with getting everyone together. Virtual platforms have been difficult because it's been 2 years of not seeing each other in a person-to-person basis there. Just seeing a face or even just a blank screen there. It's been hard. So I totally understand. What's your future goals?
My future goals, well, I want to go into the military. I want to attend Royal Military College in Kingston. I want to take military and strategic studies there, and go on and actually try to become a pilot.
Oh, two different elements. Well, bravo. Good aspirations there. You are going to have to jump ship and come on over to our aircrafts there. So you were saying equivalent to warrant officer first class, second class. So you're grade 12?
I'm a grade 10 now.
Grade 10, my apologies. Favorite subject at school then?
Social studies.
Social studies, very
I
good.
like Canadian politics and Canadian and world history.
Bravo. And it sounds like from your speech, you know how to cook? What is a dish that you make for your
I
family?
can kind of cook. I'm more of a breakfast person, I guess you could say.
It's still a dish.
I like to make cinnamon buns and crepes sometimes.
Cinnamon bun. Don't look down on cinnamon buns. It is a hard paste bread to make, actually. So it's very bravo to you. Good job on that. Lots of cinnamon, right? A little raisins or walnuts.
No,
Just simple,
cinnamon,
basic.
just cinnamon.
You like
Cinnamon
the
and
basic.
sugar.
Cream cheese on top, right?
Yeah, cream cheese icing.
Bravo. Bravo. Yeah, I like my walnuts and raisins in there. So to each their own, you know. Good job there. Now, any new hobbies or a new skill that you learned during these 2 years of restrictions?
I've been getting into model building. I build military models of all vehicles. I have built a Sherman Firefly, a Spitfire,
Wow.
a F4U Corsair, a Messerschmitt 109, and right now I'm working on a CF-18.
Oh, wow. That's busy. That's a lot happening there with model building there. Bravo. Good job there. Now I'm going to go on to speaker 2. Speaker 2, introduce yourself, your rank, and your name in the squadron you're with.
I'm Air Cadet Ashiker. I go to the Sparwood Air Cadet Squadron 279. And yeah, it's my first year in Air Cadets, and it's been pretty fun.
Fantastic. Well, welcome and glad that are you enjoying Air Cadets? It is your first year. So, and we've just started going to go back into person. I know it was difficult at the beginning, probably virtual for you, AC?
Yeah, it's lots of fun. I really like Air Cadets. It's always fun to go there every Thursday.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Now, what grade are you in?
Grade 7.
Grade 7. Yeah. Perfect. And your favorite subject in school?
I like math and science. They're my favorite, and yeah, I do pretty good in them.
And what are your future goals?
Not much.
Haven't thought it out yet, right?
I'm looking forward to going to I think Taiwan either this summer or next summer. And I want to try and start like a small farmers market shop this summer.
Oh, wow. Entrepreneur then. Safe to say that? Good, good.
Kind of, yeah. It'll be interesting. We'll see how far it gets.
Well, sky's the limit for you. And it's not only because I'm in an air element, okay? All right. So you mentioned that you also traveled to Taiwan. What is the favorite foods that you have tasted over there?
I like dim sum, bubble tea, and yeah, sticky rice. It's yeah.
AC Ashker, we have that over here too. What's your favorite that's over there?
I like the ramen and the soups. They're
Okay.
yeah, they're my favorite.
There is a little difference. I can understand that. That's good. That's good there. Perfect. Any new hobbies or skills that you learned during this 2-year restriction period?
Um, yeah, I've been improving on my snowboarding. Now that I'm pretty good at skiing, and I learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube, and yeah, I'm gonna,
Wow, the Rubik's Cube. Oh, I learned that the skiing has was it a longer learning curve compared to a snowboarding?
yeah,
It's a little quick, but it's just a lot more falling on your backside. Is that
yeah,
true?
yeah, I hurt myself yesterday. I tried to do a rail and landed on my ribs, but
Ooh,
I'm better now. Yeah.
doing the rails on a snowboard so quickly? All right. Well, good for you there, AC Ashker. All right, we're going to move on to our speaker 3. Can you introduce yourself, your rank, your name, and the squadron you're with?
I am Flight Sergeant Talbot, and I am from 552 Key City Air Cadets in Cranbrook.
Welcome,
And
Flight Sergeant. Oh, sorry, continue.
well, I'm the second in command, but it's kind of like I've just been pushed into the position because we didn't have any higher level cadets. So it's kind of been crazy, but it's been pretty good.
Well, I'm sure the officers saw something good in you that they've elevated your level so quickly. And I'm sure your leadership skills can guide your squadron, especially during these challenging times. So Flight Sergeant Talbot, what is your favorite subject in school?
Mainly social studies, like world history I'm taking right now because I'm in 10th grade. Because that's really the one thing that applies most to the real world. I mean, math, I'm taking geometry that you don't really use that much. You use English a lot, you use reading some, but I think social studies is the one that helps you the most in the real world.
Yeah, I think math skills are quite important too, especially when you're going shopping with your dad. You're going to have to help him calculate those discounts. 25% discount. Give him that exact number that he'll have to pay. But don't forget to include those taxes in there, okay? So math skills do come into play in life skills there. Let's see. Are you an indoor or an outdoor person?
Well,
Preference.
I spend more time indoors than I probably should, but
okay, is that because of the 2-year restriction? That's not included, like prior to
I think so. I think so, but I enjoy backpacking a lot because my dad does that a lot. So I guess I'm more of an outdoor person.
An outdoor person. What activities do you like to do? You were saying backpacking, so hiking?
Yes, hiking. I haven't. Oh well, cross country skiing.
Oh wow.
That. So I'm not really a downhill skier, but skiing and backpacking, that kind of thing.
We do have a biathlon. Have you considered joining that? Do you like that?
Well, it's been so long,
2
but
years.
yeah, I don't think I was available to do that when it was happening. So
when it was offered. Well, now that we're going back into person at training, what do you look forward to most at Air Cadets?
Well, they removed the provincial mask mandate, so I'm hoping we get to take off our masks. But other than that, we're back in person, so we get to do drill, which is we're all really rusty on drill, but it's good getting back into that and just in person teaching is a lot more engaging than online. So yeah.
That's good. So Flight Sergeant, use some WD-40 on those joints and your drill would be no problem, lickety split, hey?
I hope so.
That's good. Yeah, that's going to be with everyone with these 2 years restriction of not doing much as what we used to. It does take a little bit of time for us to get back into the swing of things. Regarding the restrictions, it is what it is. Even though the PHO has lifted their restrictions, each venue association are still having their protocol in place, so we must follow just to make sure everyone is safe and healthy in this period of time there. Perfect. So thank you. Let's go on to, I believe I'm on to speaker 4. Speaker 4, if you can introduce yourself, your rank, your name, and the squadron you're with.
Oh, I am Corporal Hill from the 279 Elk Valley Air Cadet Squadron. I have been in the Air Cadet program for 2 years, and this is also my second year competing in effective speaking.
Bravo. I do recognize several familiar faces there, Talbot and Hill. Thank you for coming back. And hopefully you guys are also encouraging the younger generations or the new cadets to join into this program and to learn this life skill. And you two have definitely experienced competition level and seeing the caliber of different squadrons and corps of what they can provide there. So Corporal Hill, what have you learned in these last 2 years of restriction? Hobbies or interests?
A lot of things. I've learned how to breathe effectively during the beep test with a mask on, which is very painful. Don't know why they made us do that inside. I've also learned how to shoot a rifle because I went to the Air Cadet camp and they taught us marksmanship.
Oh, bravo. Good job. So still staying active, even with the restrictions, is a good thing there. What do you look forward most now that we are going back to in-person training?
For our squadron, we've been in person for a while now, but I am looking forward to getting back to being able to do drill again.
So that is the training that you look forward to?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good stuff. And what's your future goals in life?
Probably to become an airline pilot, preferably within the Airbus family.
Airline pilot. So you'll have to go through more training. And I believe that that's where your language skills will come into play. Is that correct? Talking to stock? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are our 4 contestants from the Kooteany Valley. I am very happy that I am present today and witnessing that all 4 of you, even from different elements, that you have performed spectacularly. You're articulate, you pronounced, and you gave us a great speech all in all. Whether it was prepared or impromptu, bravo to you guys for just being here and speaking to this audience here. All right, let's get to know our judges. Judge 1, can I trouble you to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. So my name is Ron Popoff. It's been a pleasure to be a judge for the speakers for a number of years now. My background is I live in Cranbrook. I've been a 30 plus year resident of Cranbrook, family, children, and currently I'm an elected official. I'm a city councilor with the city of Cranbrook, and I have to tell you that public speaking it's a challenge. People are fearful of public speaking, and all 4 of you cadets pulled it off remarkable. So congratulations.
Bravo is right. Next, we're going to have Judge 2. I'll trouble you an introduction of yourself and a few words for our cadets.
Thank you. My name is Corey Barch. I reside in Elkford, which most people will never ever go to. I'm okay with that. I was an air cadet back in the long, long, long ago, where they would say it was another century. And I am also a military mother. My son is in his 3rd year of RMC, and he started wanting to go there when he was an air cadet, when he joined when he was 12 years old. So there are great things that can happen from the cadet organization. That being said, like Ron had mentioned, effective speaking is one of the hardest skills to attain. And from what I've seen today, all 4 competitors have excellent skills, and work on them, hone them a little bit better, and you will go far. I can honestly say that this has been the best effective speaking competition that I have been involved in, and I have great pride in all of you. You all did very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barge. Next, we're going to have Judge 3. Intro and a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Kevin Deck. I'm with 354 RCSCC Invincible in Maple Ridge, BC, and I will acknowledge that I join you from the traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, which includes the Katzie and Kwantlen First Nations here in the Maple Ridge area. I've been an officer in the Cadet Instructors Cadre for 32 years now, with a few different Sea Cadet Corps, mostly out here in the Lower Mainland in the last 25 years. One of the things that I've spent a lot of time doing in the last 2 years is, like most of you, sitting here staring into a camera with faces on a screen in front of me. Not only has the cadet training program gone virtual, but so has the officer training. So you may be aware that some of your officers, their training courses have also gone virtual. And I've been an instructor on a lot of officer training courses in the last year and a half. I'm working on my 7th officer training course. And let me tell you, part of that officer training is certain courses they have to learn to deliver a class online, and a lot of them had the same sort of trepidations and struggles as you have encountered today, which is it's hard to talk to people when they're not in person. They're a tiny little box on your screen. You can't get that feeling from them. You can't see if the light bulb has gone on. You can't see if they're entertained, amused, bored, and make your necessary adjustments. So kudos to all of you for stepping up to this competition in a virtual environment, which is that much more difficult. I was very impressed with the skills on display, and for those of you, especially the 2 younger ones, keep at it. You've got the fundamentals of having much success in this endeavor. So I encourage you to keep at it, and hopefully we see you doing this for years to come. Well done.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Deck, for your kind words there. May I have Mr. Popoff to
Yes,
have
thank you.
the cadets,
So
please?
thank you. So I'm just thinking back to when I was probably your age. I was terrified. I would never stand up and speak, let alone volunteer to do it as you have. So congratulations for that, cadets. What I didn't hear, which was incredible, was I didn't hear any ums. I didn't hear any ahs. There was no real pauses there. All of your presentations flowed really well and kept me engaged in your subject matter. So that was incredible. Also, everyone, and especially during the impromptus, everyone seemed to have a lot of poise and confidence in how you carried forward with just a subject matter that was given to you just 3 minutes earlier. And I was impressed that you actually had incredible knowledge about foods at a grocery store. That was well delivered. And I guess as a comment, what I think I observed was, and it's not a criticism, but having a detailed written script and reading it versus having notes and then speaking broader about a subject matter that you maybe made notes on. Just one has maybe more flow if you're better prepared versus reading from an exact script, is more looking down and reading the exact words. And it's obvious as a listener if there's more of one or the other. So just something to think about, but well done, cadets.
Thank you. May I have Ms. Seaman to make further comments to the cadets, please?
I'd just like to say how proud I am of all the cadets because they have done a wonderful job. I thought that all the tips that were given, and the one I was most impressed with was Lieutenant Deck's about the hands. This is the first time I've heard this hint. It's fabulous. I love that. And I'm going to pass this on to our Toastmaster group because we haven't even considered that the back of the hand is not as friendly as the front of the hand. I think that's a tip that the cadets can use, and hopefully next year we won't be doing this. We will all be in person and it will be fabulous and wonderful, and I'm so excited to think about that.
Yes, we are ready. I am going to share screen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, awards presentation for the Kooteany Wing Effective Speaking Competition 2022. Drum roll. Dun, 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 dun. Bronze medal goes to Corporal Hill. Congratulations. And the silver medals goes to, drum roll please. Dun, 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 dun. ACLC. Congratulations. And then the gold medal goes to, congratulations, Flight Sergeant Talbot. Your name and your squadron's number will be on the plaque of the Kooteany Wing. The Provincial Effective Speaking Competition is going to help on April 23rd, 2022. Ms. Jermaine Chiu will send out the package for you. Thank you.
All right, so there we have it. I'd like to thank all our cadets for coming out and participating at our Kooteany Wings Effective Speaking Competition and having to be on brochure showing us what you've got. So thank you very much. Please be aware, we will be mailing out all the bronze pins, certificate of merit, and judges gifts. So if the judges, if you can send to Captain Bott your mailing addresses, I can send you a small gift of gratitude. The evaluations can be emailed to me as I've given you my email address, and then I can snail mail it out to our cadets and in a nice package there for their feedback there. Our appreciation to the coaches, officers, judges, parents, and the 552 Key City, our CACS squadron for hosting. Thank you for your volunteers, all that you've done, Captain Lori Bott, for making this year's virtual effective speaking competition such a success. Our gratitude also goes out to BCPC for their paramount support in this effective speaking program. We thank you for attending and the support for this great program. Congratulations to all the participants in this regional competition today. You've done an amazing job, and for the cadets, especially for PO1 more, I'm giving you a bronze pin, but you are actually regulated that you cannot put it on your uniform, but you will get one for participating at our Elements Effective Speaking program. So bravo to you. Thank you for participating. I hope to see more of you, and I hope that our leagues can collaborate together and work together on having a joint venture from here on and with our effective speaking program there. I thank you everyone for participating and coming out to enjoy the presentations our young people have given us, and I wish you a good afternoon and whatever you're going to do for the rest of the day here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jermaine. Thank you everyone for tuning in and helping support the cadets. They all do well, and we love them like they're our own, even if they're from another unit. You know, some of them have been working really hard since November with Toastmasters meeting weekly with the help of Kathleen Simon and Roberta Rogers and Captain Palmer and myself. So we're going to continue. Next year, we plan to do a blended in-person practice and computer so that the faraway cadets can join in as we go. So thank you, everyone. What a great year, cadets. You all did well. The scores were close, so, you know, good job. And Flight Sergeant Talbot, congratulations on winning. bring back, you know, go and win the provincials and bring it back to the Kooteany region, you know, like let's bring the word back. So we're going for gold again, okay? So who knows? You might
Vice
be.
Sergeant Talbot, I'll send you details in your email, and PO one more. All the feedback that the judges have for you, I will send that to you as well, because I have your mailing address. And this feedback is really helpful in improving, and this is a life skill that we truly cherish. Thank you very much, everyone, for all your time.
Thanks. You bet. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Really
Congratulations,
appreciate
everyone.
taking the time to be here with the cadets, and, you know, such a valued program. So